I just feel super inspired right now. This is basically a sort of spontaneous video that I just felt compelled to record. And I just wanted to kind of reflect a little bit as I take these items off and share a little bit of heartfelt thoughts about my first year of teaching. My wife had the awesome idea to do all this, which I think is incredible. So I, teach 5th through 7th grade math. And I can just kind of see how excited my students are going to be tomorrow when I open up the Zoom call and they see this. So I'm really looking forward to that. But like I said, I've been thinking about wanting to do some type of video to talk a little bit about some of my experiences and just how unbelievably amazing this first year of teaching went. And just as a very, very quick, overview, I'm sure some of you who are watching the video kind of know this about me already, but I changed my career from engineering background, working at Verizon for about 12 years out of college to become a middle school math teacher. There were so many highlights this year and so many moments that I took a mental snapshot of while they were happening. That's something that I learned from my favorite show, The Office. When Pam did like the mental thing during her wedding to kind of remember just this particular moment. And so that's something that I try to do when the moment calls for it. And I thought what would be a good idea, just so that I can maybe look at this video years later and, kind of reflect on just how I'm feeling right now, leading up into the end of the year, and tomorrow being the last day of classes, and next week we have finals on Monday and Tuesday, and then summer break officially starts on Thursday after graduation. But I just wanted to go over a few, I would say maybe two or three different sort of experiences that I've had so far that were just very memorable. So one of them I want to start off with was pretty much very early on during the school year, when I kind of got to know some of the other faculty. I got wind of a student versus faculty basketball game, right? And it was going to be 8th graders, so my school goes up to kindergarten up to 8th grade. So it was going to be 8th graders versus faculty. And, I used to play basketball back in the day. That's my sport right there. I say back in the day like it's many years ago, but, I don't play really that much anymore. But I used to love playing basketball. That was like the number one thing that I would never not be in the mood to play. Whenever friends or coworkers are playing, nothing else could bring me down. I'm always super excited for that. So when I knew that this was happening, I find out about it maybe September or October. And when I, heard about it for the first time, I was it was going to be later on in the year, sometime in the spring. And I'm man, can we fast forward and hurry up and get to that? Because I'm super excited for the opportunity to play. And as the year goes on, I start finding out some stories about who played last year and kind of what it's all about and everything like that. So leading up into that first, the actual game, I remember just being, as you probably can see from through the camera lens here, just super excited for it. I remember finding out that we were allowed to come into school a little bit early and shoot around a little bit, and I haven't really played at all for quite a while, so I think I came to the school early, maybe just the day of, the day the game was going on. And it was also Spirit Week, if I'm not mistaken, so we had all kind of stuff, I think pajamas one day, and I think this day was wear your favorite sports apparel, so I think I had a Knicks hoodie on, and I wore my contacts, and I had I had some, I think, sweatpants or tearaway pants on or something like that. And it was, I was ready to go. And my students, again, middle school students, them seeing me with contacts on and without my glasses, which I normally wear, and just a total different attire than I normally would wear as a teacher, that just caught them completely off guard, right? They're all, Mr. Allen, every single one, Mr. Allen, where are your glasses? I'm well, they're at home. They're not on me today. I have, contacts in. But anyway, so yeah, shooting around in the morning a little bit, and I was feeling good. I remember some of the students started coming in, and they would see me shooting around. I'm trying to be cool and, just kind of draining them here and there and stuff. And I'm of course missing some as well and everything, but making more than I was missing. That I do remember. And so the day goes by, and then towards the end of the day, they call us down. So we go down, And this is the moment, right? So the moment is there, and in front of the entire school, and the eighth graders that we were playing against were boys and girls who I believe were all on the basketball team. So they were good players, and I definitely haven't seen any of them play, but I would ask around and stuff like, who's the best, eighth grader, and things like that. And so some of the kids would tell me, oh, this kid, you got to watch out for this kid. And so I remember getting to the gym and warming up. So me and the faculty were getting the basketballs, and I'm shooting around, and I'm like, is this real life? Like, last year I'm sitting in front of a desk. I mean, put this into context for a second. So a year prior, I'm sitting at a desk doing some work at Verizon, product marketing or something that I was good at, but not passionate about really at all. And now fast forward, now I'm working with children, and I'm about to play basketball, and in front of an audience. It was just kind of like a crazy experience. But anyway, so I'm shooting around, I'm warming up, and I'm feeling great. I'm like, man, I haven't played basketball in years, and I'm shooting. I'm feeling really good, feeling loose. And then students are coming in, and you hear a whole bunch of, Mr. Allen, and calling their favorite teachers and things like that. They're all kind of, watching the teachers play. They're just fixated on what's going on. I looked out, and I'll grab it in a moment. I should have thought to do it prior, but I have a sign that one of my students made with a picture of my face on it and holding it up. And I'm just like, wow, like I was so excited and pumped up and energized. And then the game started, right? So the game starts, and I was sort of, I kind of fell back into my ways when I was in sixth and seventh grade. I played recreation basketball, and I would get so nervous before these games. Without fail all the time, just for I don't know why, playing in front of people or something. And so naturally, since from that grade up until this moment, I had played a ton more basketball, but not really any more organized basketball, aside from maybe like intramural league in college. So I thought that was a thing of the past, and a combination of still me being a little bit nervous, I guess. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say it straight up. I suppose I was a little bit nervous. A combination of that, and the fact that I've been playing basketball 2-on-2, 3-on-3, open gym and stuff like that in the years leading up to this moment. But very, very, very seldom was I doing any full court, and so that led me to realize pretty quickly that I was, out of shape to be playing the way that I wanted to play, which is trying to do lockdown defense and running up and down the court and everything. So what ended up happening, long story short, that's a full sort of, build up towards the excuse of me saying that I ended up scoring no points in the game. I remember having a couple of air balls in the game. And and I did. It was such an incredible experience. But I was like, man, I cannot wait until the following year where I could practice a little bit more and just kind of not let the moment become bigger than it actually is. But we ended up winning in overtime, which was crazy. We were getting beat really badly in that game. And I remember, it was a crazy game. We went to overtime, which I don't think that's ever happened at the school. And it was first basket to win it. And so that's one of the stories, just a ton of fun and just a really, really great experience and something that I'm sure I'll never forget. And then another story I want to share is leading up into winter break. So leading up to winter break, I believe it was a Friday, either Thursday or Friday, we had our winter assembly, and we had an ugly sweater contest. And this ugly sweater contest, you had to register to participate in it. It was, amongst the students for one, but then there was also one for the faculty. And you had to register because they had college basketball, March Madness style, grid kind of thing laid out. And I ended up, for whatever reason, missing the deadline and deciding not to sign up for it. And the night before, my wife was like, it's your first year teaching. Like, you might want to consider just, wearing something to school, something festive. We've done a couple years in a row, actually, of an ugly sweater party at my house here. And back in high school, I used to do the face. If you're watching this and you know about the face, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, then you'll see it right now on the screen when I edit this. But yeah, so I had a picture of me doing the face, sort of not embroidered, but made on this sweater, which is really a sweatshirt. But I would wear that to our ugly sweater parties at the house. And I ultimately thought about wearing that to the school, but I was like, that might be a little bit too much. Like, I don't know if my middle school students are ready for this type of thing right now. So I opted to wear some beads, some holiday beads, and what else did I have on? I had like just a button-down shirt. I had that attire on, and the bells like jingle and stuff like when you walk around and things like that. And then there was also this hat, huge Christmas hat, huge brim around it. And she was like, "Oh, you want to wear this too?" I was like, "Probably not. Like that's kind of extra. Like you're gonna be the focal point for the entire school if you do that." And while some may think or look at me as someone who love those types of situations, I kind of don't. Like I don't mind them, and I guess once I'm in them, they're cool. But like leading up, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do all that. But I ended up bringing it with me. I remember driving to school, and I remember like leaving it, like having it on the seat in the car, and then saying to myself, like, do I want to bring this into school? Like, I know if I wear this on my head, like, that's going to be what the entire day is about, which, I mean, this is right before Christmas, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, you want to do something fun for the students and everything. But so I had it sitting there, and I ultimately decided to actually bring it in, and then let me determine if I want to wear it or not. So I remember holding it, and I kind of folded it. I didn't want to wear it in because it's first thing in the morning, 7:15, 7 o'clock in the morning, getting to school, and I'm like, all right, or 7:30, I should say. 7 o'clock is when I leave. But I'm like tired. I'm like, I don't know if I don't want all that energy from the kids this early. So I got out the car, folded it, and held it, walked in the building, and then I put it like in my desk because like I didn't want it out in the open. But anyway, so at this point, they call down the whole school for the assembly. So we're all walking down, and I'm like, should I bring this with me, or should I just go down and just kind of be cool, just with a little something? So I was like, you know what? I brought it with me. Let me just wear it. Let me go down. So I put it on. I'm telling this story, and I'm kind of remembering how I was feeling. I was like, man, this is gonna be a lot of attention right now. I don't know if I'm ready for it. But I put it on. And the moment that I got downstairs and opened the door, and I just started hearing an applause, and I did not think anything of it. And then, because I was trying to take myself out. I was trying to wear the hat, but also just be under the radar, which is like impossible to do both of those things. But I ended up going in, and some of my fifth grade class, I think all of them got up and saw me, and they like gave me a standing ovation. And I'm like, wow, that was like really nice and unexpected. I didn't expect that reaction of all things. So I go in, and then I start hearing a little chatter about one of the teachers not being in this day. I think she was out sick or something, and she had previously signed up for this contest. So they asked me if I would step in for her. I'm like, I would, yeah, but I don't have an ugly sweater. He's like, no, don't worry about it. You have an attire, you have this on, you're good, boom, boom. I was like, okay, so no problem. So I did it, and it was, again, one of those experiences. It was more, from what I understood, popularity type contest, as well as, how nice your ugly sweater ensemble is. Because the students, they actually had a meter that was testing the applause, which was I thought pretty cool. But the students were cheering for one teacher here. Like I think you had to like walk out together or one by one or something, and then do a little flaunt. And I was like, I'm not even prepared for this. I just like walked out and did a little something, and Ray, get up, whatever, that type of thing. And I ended up coming in third place. And I say all these things like, not at all, hopefully, to sound pompous at all or anything like that. Just like, I guess at this point, this was during Christmas, so this is after only 3 years of me teaching. I'm sorry, 3 months of me teaching at the school. And just to get that sort of feedback from the students, like about their appreciation of me and the way that, looking at them cheering and going crazy and stuff when it was me up there, told me, not that I think I needed to know it, because I think I kind of had a good idea about the relationship I had with my students, but it told me that they appreciated me, and that I had chosen the right sort of career path to get into for this second, part of my professional career. So that was also a really, really fun moment. And then in addition to that, when we segue just to the actual school I'm in, and the fact that teaching math, a lot of people hate math, but the idea of me being able to teach something that I love to students, and be able to kind of pull from real world experiences, in corporate and things like that, has been just an absolute blessing, and a real pleasure to sort of have that opportunity to do that. And I went into this school year not knowing exactly how things were going to be. Like, I have several people in my life that are teachers, and or are in education, and so I've gotten a lot of different perspectives about teaching as a whole, and what to expect and things like that. A lot of people, whoa, like, are you sure you want to make such a drastic change? And yeah, I was sure. At no point in this process did I ever feel as though I was taking a risk. I never felt that leaving Verizon and taking like a 65% pay cut in my professional career, I never felt like that was a risk. Now, that to most would probably sound crazy, because that maybe suggests that, did I really know what I was getting into and do the math and all that kind of stuff? But I knew that working with children, working with students, was something that I needed to do, not wanted. I needed to do, because it was gonna not just fill a void, but also be a blessing upon the students, and be someone that the students can hopefully look back on as they get older, and kind of think back to the experience of having me as a teacher, and some of the insights and things like that I shared. Not just how to multiply fractions and how to subtract negative or integers and things like that, but also the other things that we sort of experience together in the class together. So I just wanted to hop on here and just hopefully be inspiration to others out there who may be considering making a move like this, and also if any of my students and or faculty and the head of the school happen to be watching this video, I want to say thank you to the entire school, the whole community, from the head of the school down to the head of middle school at my school. Just the relationship that I have with them, and the respect that I have for them, and the fact that I learned so much from both of them and their leadership style has been just quite incredible. Kind of going into it saying, I know that I'm going to enjoy the teaching part, but what about the other components, right, of teaching? What about the bureaucracy and the administration and these types of things? So I didn't know what to really expect, from that. But I mean, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier with how things, and this might sound like I don't know. I don't care about how it sounds. I'm just being honest and truthful. It's been an absolute delight and a pleasure to know them and to work for them. So let me say that to start. And then let's talk about the faculty, the teachers at this school. So I'm in a school, as I mentioned in my previous video, where I am the only black person working in the school, and I'm one of the only men teaching in the school. I think there's maybe 4 or 5 men, I think. And that part of the conversation we talked about during last week's or probably 2 weeks ago. Now I'm a little bit late on this next episode. I had a lot on my mind, but on the previous episode. But the experience that I had working with this staff and getting to know them and learning from them has been quite extraordinary as well. A couple different things, kind of like one major thing that happened to me this year is I ended up not getting a classroom for myself where students come to me, and I had a desk that was shared in another classroom, so I had a home base, but I did not teach from that classroom. So when I found out that this was going to be the case early in the year, I was a little bit, I was like, man, I came to the school to decorate and more decoration, kind of like this. Like my wife and I actually wasn't really doing any of the decorating. My wife did, 95%. She did 100%. I don't think I did anything actually at all. But anyway, yeah, so we went to the school, got it decorated, and then to find out, I think it was the day before the first day, so then to find out that I'm not going to get a classroom was a little bit disappointing, for sure, at first, but that disappointment turned into, I oftentimes try to look at things, the silver lining with things, and the silver lining here was that I was going to be going into other teachers' rooms to teach math. And oftentimes, these other teachers would want to be in their room at their desks and do some, grading or lesson planning. And, what do you think that resulted in? It resulted in me being in a situation that maybe some teachers are uncomfortable about, teaching with another teacher in the room. Not even maybe, definitely, because I've heard, stories about that being a challenge for some people. But when this one teacher in question, and I'm going to share this video with you too. I haven't reached out to you all this time during quarantine, and I feel bad about that. So, I definitely want to connect with you and just say thank you to you, and you know who you are, for sharing the classroom. Not sharing your classroom. You didn't have an option to share or not share, I guess, but what you did in that classroom, which was you're doing your lesson planning, but you always had feedback for me in the class. And I learned so much from you, and I learned so much from other teachers and other staff in the school about how to be a better teacher. Not things that are going to necessarily change my style, but more so, nuts and bolts kind of things in the class. One thing you mentioned to me, and I have a list of things, and I'll probably do another video or some type of informative thing with some of these, I think, profound, key items that I've learned during my first year. I actually am going to do that. I have to kind of go through some of the notes and stuff that I've taken. But I remember one of the things that you mentioned. You said that I say excellent a lot, and I was like, okay. And what of it? But you said that I say excellent to everyone, to all students, whenever they give a correct answer, and excellent is really good. But is giving a correct answer on a homework excellent, or is it good, or is it okay? You know what I'm saying? Like you were saying, leave some room for using that word when things really deserve that, because if giving a homework answer is excellent, then what about solving this challenging problem or doing something that actually is excellent? So that really stuck out to me, and you sent me an email too that I need to pull this email up again, and it was something just about my uncanny way of connecting with the students and gaining their respect, as well as giving them respect, and it was something that you observed as a teacher who's been teaching for many, many years, and that really touched my heart and really made me feel pretty good about the job that I was doing there as a first year teacher, to get that feedback. So I was super appreciative of that, and I thank you for that. And when I'm teaching from this school and saying to myself, I know it can't be this great at every school. I know it can't be. If you take me and my personality and my disposition and my passion and all that and put me in one of the most challenging schools, I'm gonna struggle there mightily, not even most likely, I am going to struggle there, and I'll probably get my footing and figure it out. But the fact that I ended up landing this job as my first teaching position, and asking around to other teachers who have been at other schools and saying, how is it here compared to, where you came from? And yeah, pretty much unanimously, everybody at the school. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering why my voice might sound a little bit different and why the video is no longer running and pretty much abruptly stopped and just started showing a slideshow of the things we talked about, it's because the end of my video did not get recorded because my camera ran out of space. But that's just a testament of how passionate I am about what I'm talking about. I didn't even realize we were even close to the capacity, which is about 30 minutes of record time. But that's neither here nor there. Everyone that I talked to at the school just had the same thing to say. All the faculty that have worked at other places and had stuff to compare things to compared to the school that I work at. So yeah, I'm just really, really, blessed and excited that this is the school that I ended up working at for my first experience. And today is actually a couple of days after I originally recorded. So since that day, I can give you guys actually, which is pretty good actually. I just used actually a couple times, but it's pretty good. I can give you an update on exactly what happened. A lot of the students were just really excited and really surprised about what I had set up and the way I opened up class. And I went out my way to make sure that they all knew and know that I appreciate each and every one of them for making this first year kind of what it was, what it became. And, it was just a really good experience. So that's kind of what I wanted to share. I'm really looking forward to the future and, continuing to see these children grow and develop into, successful students and, into high school and into college and beyond. And this is just a start. I also want to make an announcement, I guess, sort of a spontaneous announcement, even though it's something I've been thinking about for a little while. I'm super excited to announce to anyone that's listening to this that I'm going to be starting a podcast very, very, very soon. Just the content of my material for most of the first season of my show, it was me talking. And so that content can very, very easily be translated over to a podcast medium. And, if you ask anyone who's in the content creation business, they would tell you that you have to kind of make sure that your content is available in not every single place, but it needs to be spread out. There might be people who don't watch YouTube videos, which, I'm sure there's not that many people like that, but there might be people who would be more likely to listen to an engaging podcast than to watch a YouTube video, or vice versa, or, the Reddit stream or Instagram. So you have to just, I guess, be a little bit familiar with all these different platforms if you're serious about this in a way to make sure that it's reaching the audience that you're, intending it to reach. So I'm sitting here right now. I have like a boom arm talking into this mic. And I'm looking at the screen as it's recording. I'm using a brand new app to record. I never really used GarageBand, but I'm like checking this out to see if this could be my podcast solution. And this is kind of where I'd like to leave it. So I just want to, thank everyone for watching and listening. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Hopefully this reaches someone who can be inspired by making this change that I made, and, can actually just go ahead and try it out. Try the change out, see what happens, and do it thoughtfully as well. And one more thing I want to mention too is that in the description / comments below, I'm going to put a link to this. I did a Ask Me Anything on Reddit, which was basically a live forum for random people out there to look at my title, look at the title of this Ask Me Anything, which was like, after 12 years in corporate, I recently accepted a teaching role, and in the process took a 60% or 65%, I think I said, pay cut. And so that was very appealing and compelling to people. So a ton of people jumped in and asked questions, and I was like kind of working pretty hard actually for a day or two, going through answering the questions and stuff like that. So I'll put the link for that if you want to check it out. I urge you not to read the whole thing, because you can read it. I'm sure you get some great insight, but it's a lot of information. But you could just scroll through it, check it out. I think you can sort it by like the most liked question and most liked response for me, so you can kind of just see the popular stuff as well. So yeah, check it out if you get a chance. All right, I am done, and I am going to go get me something to eat, I think, before I have to tutor in a couple of minutes, or maybe I'll wait till after I'm done. Yeah, I'll probably wait till after I'm done. Yeah, this just feels different, being able to talk like this. Like the YouTube video seems a little bit more like deliberate and stuff. Like this type of dialogue can be okay in a podcast when someone's just listening to, as long as it's not too much rambling, depending on what style you're going for. So I'm looking forward to doing just that. So stay tuned for that. More details on that to come. But have a great rest of the day, as I mentioned, and I will catch you all next week.